that question. The plan that TECO has brought forward is to replace an aging coal-fired plant with a new gas-fired plant, which of course will be running on fracked gas. This will be a very large plant. They have put out a press release that said by 2023 they'll be burning almost no coal, which has caused people in Apollo Beach to believe that they're going to be spared the pollution from Big Bend that has plagued them for so long, both in terms of ash on their cars and patios, but also damage to their lungs and so forth. But what TECO didn't say is that the reason they'll be burning so little coal in 2023 is because Big Bend Units 3 and 4, which burn coal also, will be temporarily offline to be refurbished and upgraded, but then they'll be brought back and continue to burn coal. And if you look at the 10-year plan filed by TECO with the Florida Public Services Commission, you can see that in 2028, their coal burning will exceed the coal that they plan to burn for 2019. They're not going to be burning less coal long term, only while they're refurbishing these plants. Then they go to be burning more coal. The frack gas plant is a 30-year commitment to burning fossil fuels. The reality is we have only 10 to 12 years before we have to reduce our reliance on carbon fuels by about 40 to 50%, or else we will most certainly be crossing over to a tipping point that plunges us down a path of unknown, unknowable, possibly unsurvivable environmental consequences. We are simply out of time. The idea of spending nearly $1 billion to build another fossil fuel plant that will run for 30 years at a time when we need to be stopping the fossil fuels and moving into renewable energy, it's a bad deal for the ratepayers. It's bad for the environment. It will rely on a fuel that is going to certainly be more expensive in the future. For folks who don't know, there was no fracked gas before 2005. It was made possible by exemptions to clean air, clean water, and safe drinking water bills that were in the Cheney energy bill, the Halliburton loophole. When that was passed, people didn't know about the earthquakes. They didn't realize that their faucets were going to be catching on fire. Those exemptions are going to be removed, and when they are, and when the gas and oil companies are brought under regulations that make the processes safe, frack gas is going to be much less affordable. The cost of the fuel for that plant is going to skyrocket. And, oh, by the way, TECO doesn't pay that cost. If you look at your electric bill, the fuel is a separate line. So it's not a risk to TECO, but it is very much a risk to the ratepayers.
And you prefer a solar alternative. Would solar be able to meet peak demand, and how do you account for using energy at night if TECO goes to more solar?
Florida Power and Light is building the world's largest solar-powered battery bank, just 40 miles from Apollo Beach, just down the road from there. They are doing this and say that by doing so they're going to save their ratepayers $100 million. Now TECO says that solar plus batteries isn't cost effective. I just somehow or other the idea that Florida Power and Light can deploy solar battery and save $100 million, but TECO says it's not cost effective, just doesn't make any sense. Now, we don't make a transition like this overnight. It's going to take many, many years to site and bring online necessary solar panels. But it's a direction we can go instead of going one more step further down a dead-end fossil fuel road.
What are the details of your rally this Saturday?
We will be meeting at 6 p.m. at Gaslight Park, which is in downtown Tampa. It's worth noting that parking is free north of Kennedy Boulevard on the weekends. The reason we want people to be there is because at this point, the only way we can stop this gas-fired plant from going forward is with political pressure. We need to demonstrate to the governor and the cabinet, who will be making the decision on this in late July, that the people of Tampa Bay are absolutely opposed to it. I realize that most of the listeners at WMNF are deeply concerned about the environment. I imagine most of them recycle, they do what they can to conserve energy and to save water. But the reality is, this is just not enough. We have to stop TECO's plan, and we have to stop it by showing up. Otherwise, our grandchildren face a future that is going to be so remarkably different from what we have known. It is a generational betrayal for us to act as if doing everything we can to immediately transition to renewable energy is optional. We have no choice in this. This is something we have to commit to. And we need people to show up. Gaslight Park, 6 p.m. on Saturday. There will be an open mic. Folks will have an opportunity to voice their opinion about the TECO plan. We have invited Nancy Tower. We visited the TECO office downtown Tuesday morning, and I personally read a letter to the staff who were in charge, and we left a written copy of it. We would love for Nancy Tower to come down and explain to the people why TECO should do something that in Indiana, the Regulatory Commission there said no. In Indiana, the Regulatory Commission said that where Vectren wanted to replace and exactly the kind of plant TECO has now, Vectren wanted to replace a coal-fired power plant with a new gas-fired plant. And the Indiana Regulatory Commission said that it was irresponsible and risky to be spending hundreds of $millions on a 30-year plant that, given the rapidly evolving technology around energy. And this is the thing. We don't have well, battery storage now is becoming much more cost effective. But we have to start down the road. New energy, new electricity generated by solar panels is cheaper than new energy from a gas-fired power plant. It doesn't, at this time, we have to bring the batteries online, but the price of batteries is dropping like a rock. Very similar to what happened with solar panels. The Greta Thunberg, the teenager from Europe there that has been leading a revolution among students, said it very clearly. She told the British Parliament, you know, what we need to address the environmental problem, we need cathedral thinking, which is to say, we don't have to know what the design on the ceiling is going to be to lay the foundation. And this is where we are now. We need to start laying the foundation for renewable energy, and before we can complete that, the other, such as battery storage and so forth, will be available. And like I said, if battery storage is going to work for Florida Power and Light, why won't it work for TECO?
Well, let's transition now to another energy topic, renewable energy topic. Several communities in the state and in our community, in our Tampa Bay area and around the country, have gone to 100% renewable pledges, and the city of Safety Harbor has the opportunity to do that on Monday. What will Safety Harbor be talking about on Monday?
Safety Harbor will be considering becoming the 4th city in Pinellas and the 9th city in Florida and the 127th city in the nation to make a commitment to 100% clean energy. They'll be meeting at City Hall in Safety Harbor at 7 p.m. On Monday, and it would be great for people to turn out for that meeting and show their support for this forward-thinking plan that's going to be considered by Safety Harbor.
What does that mean for a city to commit to 100% renewables? Does that mean that the city's going to have to spend a lot of money to convert things, or how does that work?
The first step is to make a plan. And you look at what your needs are, you look at what your assets are, you create a plan, and then you move forward slowly. almost or about half the distance that we need to cover to renewable energy is made up by energy efficiency measures. These measures pay for themselves. It's simply a good investment. It means reducing the cost of energy or reducing consumption of energy by increasing insulation, replacing windows. When you get up into the industrial scale, there's a lot to do with variable speed motors versus old-fashioned motors. These are cost-effective measures that pay for themselves over time. And once you've identified those, you can move forward with that. And then you establish a path forward to retire the fossil fuel energy sources and replace those with solar energy. This is diametrically opposed to what TECO is proposing to do. You know, they have a 10-year plan that actually increases fossil fuel and doesn't, you know, we're not paying any attention to efficiency over here. It's a key issue. We need to reduce the waste of energy.
Well, great. Thanks so much for your time today.
Oh, thank you for having us here. And we look forward to seeing lots of folks out at Gaslight Park, 6 p.m. Saturday, free parking downtown north of Kennedy. And stand up, show up, let your voice be heard. There will be an open mic.
All right. Thanks so much.